What's up guys, it's River and today we're going to show you how to turn your Canon M50 into an absolute beast. I'm going to show you all of the settings that you need to know to get the most out of your camera. So grab your camera, follow along, and let's get right into it. By the way, if you're new to the channel, we talk about anything and everything to do with camera gear, including teaching you guys how to get the most out of your cameras. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. It massively helps the channel out. The YouTube algorithm is crazy, and I'm gonna leave links down below for all of the products and courses and things that we talk about today in this video. So make sure to check out those links, and let's get right into it. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is set up our camera. Now if the shot looks a little dark, I apologize. I just want to make sure you guys can see the camera, but also I want you guys to see this monitor without it getting too bright because you need to be able to see those menu settings. So the first thing that you need to know about your camera is right here is the shutter button. If you half press this, your camera will focus. I'll show you guys how to do that later. If you full press it, it will take a photo. And next to it is the movie record button. If you press this, it will start recording a movie. If you hit it again, it will start recording the movie. And next to it is the mode dial and the on-off button. So naturally, you know, as you may have guessed, you want to keep your camera button in the on position so your camera's actually on. Shocker, I know. Welcome to the channel. We like to educate. And with that, next to it is the mode dial. Now this mode dial will put your camera in different settings, but the only two that you really need to know is the M setting, and right above it is this setting right here that has the little camera icon. This is how you're going to switch between photo mode and video mode. So when you go to the M setting, you're now in manual mode. And this is where you're going to be able to pick all of your options, where you have complete control over your camera. So when you're in manual mode, you want to hit the menu button, which is here on the back. It says menu, so you guys will have to find it right away. And then from there, you'll be brought to this menu. And the first thing you'll see is on page 1 is image quality. You want to middle click the button and you'll get to this. So right here at the top, you have RAW and JPEG. Now, RAW is basically the high quality, super extra crash, whatever fancy term you want to use, but that is the professional file format, and JPEG is the consumer for everyday people. So if you're somebody that wants to do a lot of editing, you want to do professional work with your camera, I absolutely recommend shooting RAW. And you have two options for RAW. One is RAW and then C-RAW. Basically, they give you the same quality, but C-RAW takes up less space because it compresses the file, where RAW takes up more space because it doesn't compress the file. The real place where you're going to see a change or where it's going to matter is when you're editing them. If you don't have a very good computer, it's going to take longer for it to uncompress the RAW for you to use versus RAW, where the file hasn't been compressed, so your computer's going to have an easier time with it. If you've got a good computer, I would just say go with compressed RAW. And below that, you have JPEG. Now with JPEGs, this is the consumer format. So if you're not planning on doing any kind of editing, I recommend only using JPEG. RAW is just going to be overkill. And plus, you'll get way better colors right out of the camera with JPEG. But with JPEGs, they don't really take up a lot of room, nor are they heavy to handle for your phone or your computer. Simply put, you should just shoot the highest format of JPEG. Why shoot anything less? Because there's really no advantage to it. So I just recommend going all the way to the JPEG thing on the left here and picking L with the curve next to it and middle clicking, and you have that selected. And now it might seem like, well, that was easy to do, and honestly, it is that easy. But the next thing that you need to do is actually set up your focus mode. So the next thing you want to do is you want to go back to your main screen, and if you don't know how to do that, you can either hit menu or just tap your shutter button. So if you're in your menu and you just hit the shutter button, it will take you to your main screen. Right up here top, you'll see a little Q icon right here at the top right of your screen. So if you hit that Q icon, it will open up your quick menu. And right here at the top left of your screen, you'll see this little autofocus method. Now, believe it or not, the default method is actually the best, but I want to show you guys anyways in case you have it set to something else. So basically, you want to hit the Q button, go to autofocus modes right here, and a bunch of them will come up. You actually want to select this down here with face tracking, and at the same time, if you tap the info button right here, can enable or disable eye tracking. Now, if you've got a Mark 1, it will not have eye tracking, but if you've got a Mark 2, make sure to keep that eye tracking enabled. By the way, if you're watching this video, chances are you just bought a brand new Canon M50 and you want to make sure you get the most out of this camera. In that case, make sure to check out the Camera Boost course in the link down below. In this course, I'm going to show you how to take your beginner or entry-level camera and make it perform like a professional camera. This course is not only going to save you time, but also money, because I'm going to show you that you don't need to spend a ton of money to get amazing results. I'm going to show you everything you need to know from top to bottom. I'm going to show you shooting tips, lighting, editing, everything that you need to know to make your work look professional. So if you're interested, make sure to check out the Camera Boost course in the link down below. And the next thing we want to do is let's set up video, because video is a lot more complicated for setting up on this camera. So you want to take your mode dial, switch over to the camera icon, and you'll be greeted by the screen. Now what you want to do is click here, choose mode, and now you'll have two. I already have mine set to manual, but you'll basically have movie auto exposure or movie manual. Now this is entirely up to you. If you're somebody that wants to control every aspect of your video image, I recommend picking manual. Otherwise, auto does a pretty good job at just making it easier, so you can just hold the camera, film around, and it'll just adjust all the settings for you. If you're someone that's just like a hobbyist and not too bothered by any of this, I recommend going with movie auto. Otherwise, manual is the way to go. And once you have that picked, hit the menu screen again, and again, you'll be brought to this menu. But this time you'll notice that it is very, very different. Now, in case you were wondering, you can actually pick your shooting mode right from the menu, but we've already done that. But in case you needed to change it later, that's how you would change it. And right below that is movie record quality. Now you've got a whole lot of different options. So the first thing you're gonna do is movie record size. Now this is going to give you a few options. Naturally, most people will want to shoot on 4K, but 4K is not the best quality. So what you actually want to do is shoot on full HD 2398. And this will give you the best image quality. But if you want to shoot in slow-mo, you want to go to FHD 59.94, and this will give you full HD with slow motion, but you will have to slow it down in post. But in case you wanted slow motion in camera where you don't have to slow it down later, you actually want to go down here to high frame rate, click click the button and click enable. And from here, now you will be shooting in 1280 by 720 at 120 frames per second. This is phenomenal for getting 4 times the slow motion. So if you're into that kind of stuff, highly recommend turning this mode on and having a bit of fun with it. But because we're going to set up the rest of the camera, I'm actually going to disable this for now, and I'm going to set it up to be full HD 2398, which is the cinematic mode. And the next thing I want to show you guys are two really, really, really important things that you need to know about setting up this camera. The first thing is you want to go to the menus and you want to go all the way to page 8, and right here you'll see IS image stabilization mode. Now this is specifically for video, so if you're using video, you want to middle click the button and you want to turn IS mode on. And right underneath there it says digital IS. You want to go to enable. Do not turn on enhance. Enhance is not very good. It crops in your image and it kind of makes it look all wobbly. So you just want to make sure you click enable, and from that you will get much, much smoother video. So the next thing I want to show you guys is a very, very important setting for video, and specifically for videos, but if you're shooting JPEGs, this will also matter. This is to set up your custom picture profile. So you want to go to page 3 and you want to go down to picture style. Now, initially it'll give you auto picture style. And if you're just shooting casually, you're not too bothered about things, keep it at auto and the camera will do a very, very good job. But in case you're somebody that wants to do a little bit of post editing and you want to tweak your colors down the line, this is how to get the most out of your camera and the base profile. So you want to go down to user defined 1, hit this thing, and it'll take you into the main menu. You want to hit picture style, and you actually want to pick the neutral or faithful. They'll both work really, really well. I'm going to go with neutral. And then from there, you want to go down and you want to adjust your sharpness. So if you want to take your sharpness strength all the way to 0, neutral will already give you 0, but you want to make sure sharpness is all the way down. Now you want to go down to contrast. Actually turn this down to -2. Some people like it at -3, I like it at -2. And you want to go to saturation, and again, -2. And color tone is something you just want to leave alone. Never touch your color tone. And once you have just that set up, once again, it is just very, very simple. Just picture style, neutral, sharpness all the way down to 0, contrast, -2, saturation, -2. And once you have that set up, it's super simple. And with these profiles, you will get much more dynamic range and a much more flat image, so that if you want to do a little bit of color grading in post-production, you will have that flexibility. But if you do not plan to do any kind of color correction, I actually find auto or standard works amazing. Now, once that's set up, the next thing you want to do is actually go back to the main menu. In case you're on a different page, just hit M and make sure you go to page 1. And you want to hit sound recording. So I'm actually just going to use the buttons here. So sound recording. And you'll see right up here top, you'll see sound recording auto. So now you want to middle click this button and actually pick manual. Oops, I hit disable, but you want to pick manual. And now what you'll actually see is, if you look at the bottom here, you'll see these lines going up and down. That's actually the audio level. And now you can see they're all the way to the right, and that's not good for audio recording. So you want to go down here to record level and actually lower it. Now this will depend on where you are, how loud the noise that you're dealing with is. But basically, if you want to just go down here and just click the middle button and then just hit left and drag it all the way down here. And I'm gonna have this really, really low because I'm so close to my camera. But right here, as you can see, these little lines at the bottom are not going past the 12. You wanna make sure it never goes past 12. Otherwise, your audio will sound scratchy and bad. So right here, this sounds good. I would recommend doing this every single time before you record audio with this camera. All right, guys, and the last thing I want to show you is super, super helpful. So you want to go into menu and you actually want to go to page 8 over here, and you'll see an option called shutter button function for movies. Now, this is super useful. If you go into that, and now you'll see like a bunch of these options. If you go into fully press and you change that to start, stop, record, you actually don't have to use this tiny little button. You can actually use the main button to start recording your movies, which is super helpful because I really don't like this tiny little button for shooting video. So once again, shutter button, function, start and stop, and then also make sure you leave the half press option to meter and servo AF. This will help you manage autofocus. So if you half press it, it will grab autofocus, and then if you full press it, it will record. Well guys, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, and if you want to take your photography and video to the next level and get the most out of your camera, make sure to check out the Camera Boost course in the link down below. And I will either see you in the course or in the next video. Peace.